What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another early afternoon in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox, your brewmaster in chief. And this afternoon in the BrewLab, continuing to run through the colors from Edge of Eternities and, giving you my personal favorite and a runner-up. And this will be based mostly upon like brewing potential, personal preference, shenaniganery, that sort of thing. And then the card from the color that will actually impact standard and is legitimately probably the actual best card from the set in that color, with a runner-up as well. So we've slowly worked our way through the Wooburg acronym, and we've arrived at the end of it with the G. Therefore, we're talking about green. And there will be a video for colorless and multicolored, which I will fuse into one, so stay tuned for that as well. But as far as my top pick of favorite card from green, and this was quite hard. There was actually a couple of really nice ones, exactly the kind of stuff that I like, and that are going to fit right into decks that we've actually recently been playing on the channel. And I think they're pushing this strategy quite seriously. I don't know if you've guessed already at this point, but of course I'm talking about Ouroboros. Ouroboros. The plant worm. It's a 4-mana 1/3. Yes. Okay. Bear with me. You can play this on turn 3. On turn 4. Well, maybe on turn 4. Turn 3, if you get Land or Elves, and you're allowed to have it stick on the board. But let's not get too Christmas La La Landy. But just if you just go on turn 4, after you've played the, oh my goodness, what's the name of the card? It's like a worm. And it's got Endure, and it's from Tarkir. And then if you play something, after it gets as many counters as the thing has. And as long as this thing enters a bit bigger, or you find a way to immediately grow it, and it doesn't even matter about how many counters it has. It's just as long as its power is more. So it can also just be an anthem effect. It doesn't have to necessarily be a thing that puts counters on it. But the point is, it's one of those snowbally, janky, and it's going to tie into why I've picked some of the other cards later on. There's a lot of stuff in this set that will allow you to either, draw a card or gain a little extra bit of advantage, or have some little juice, sprinkled on top. If you have +1/+1 counters on things, there's a card that was actually in the white video, 2-mana instant that gives double strike, and then if you have a counter on the card that you targeted, you draw a card. And like I think this +1/+1 things is actually going to be pretty good, and this will go right in it, right? I mean, it just grows the whole team. You just go a bit wide, and then just one of those cards, like if they don't answer it immediately, 1 or 2 turns that this is allowed to, you're allowed to untap with this thing. There's all sorts of mana counter doublers, things that say like, if you put this many +1/+1 counters, put this many +1/+1 counters +1 instead, or double the number of fun. So in this category, the runner-up, Terra Symbiosis, tying into what I've just talked about. 3-mana enchantment in a color combination that desperately needs this. We have ourselves a card draw engine. Whenever you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, you may draw that many cards. Okay? Just think of like, what's the worm? There's like a X and 1 green trample haste worm thing from, I don't remember which set it was from. I think it could be Outlaws of Thunder Junction. But anyway, it counts the number of tokens that are put on. You could draw like lots of cards. And going back to that Ouroboros, and plenty of other cards that we have in standard that are going to stick around. Think of my Genova deck with the Golgari +1/+1 counters. Even the Landfall decks can use this, because you're putting +1/+1 counters on things with everything in that deck as well. So, just nice to have this as a thing in Standard for this color. Definitely going to be seeing a lot of this in any sort of green-based BrewLab brews going forward. But when it comes to green, my pick for the card that I think is actually going to be the most impactful as far as Standard is concerned, it had to go to Frenzied Baloth. I've been raving about this. There's a mono green aggro deck that isn't mono green Landfall, which is currently the best one, but I think that it's so freaking close. We got the, oh my god, what's his name? Hajar? No, it's not Hajar. The 3-drop with Trample that when you target it or any other of your creatures, you draw a card. Then we got, there's the 4-drop Haster with that really cool ward ability. My goodness, why can I never remember names of cards? Let's see, there's too many cards. But the point is, I've been very vocal about all green needs in terms of green aggro, yeah? Like lower to the ground, maybe topping out at 4 drops, boom, 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 slam town, green. What's missing is like more hasty cards. And now we have this 2-drop. I think it's ready to rumble. Like I'm gonna immediately I know exactly what I'm going to replace in my existing mono green aggro deck. I'm going to just put this guy in, and I think it's going to be Banana Town. So stay tuned. I can't wait to find out. They've been very vocal about saying how they want mono green aggro to be a thing, and this is one of the most obvious cards that illustrate that point from WotC. Can't be countered. Trample, haste. Creature spells, so, the next thing you play after that can't be counted. Combat damage can't be prevented. Yada, 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 yada. Just insane card. Cannot wait. But there's a runner-up, and I think it should come as no surprise to anyone. I had to go for the Edge Rover. Possibly one of the most insane 1-drops. Like, just in stats and things, like it's 1 mana, 2/2, reach. When it dies, land a token. It is a artifact creature. There's so many layers to this. I think, this is another one that's definitely, once we look back on Edge of Eternities in a few months' time, it'll be one of the green cards that saw the most play in Standard. But that is going to be it as far as this color. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of my picks. What would you have picked? What did I miss? Did I miss anything? Let's start a little conversation and perhaps some theory crafting over there on the Discord. Link is in the description. I'll be seeing you all in the next one, which will be the combined colorless and artifacts. Stay tuned. And until then, this is Lone Fox from the BrewLab signing out. Peace, y'all.